It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm Tyler Kieft. Thank you so much for joining us. Our top story today, Greater West Bloomfield's biggest annual celebration. Hundreds gathered at Temple Israel late last week to celebrate our community's unsung heroes, its volunteers. Civic Center TV reporter Kevin McIntosh got the inside scoop on the honorees' efforts to help their community and how their efforts make an impact every day.
The Michigan Week Community Awards Breakfast is an annual event in West Bloomfield that highlights residents who make a difference in their community by volunteering. As Civic Center TV covered this event, we spoke to attendees and awardees about volunteering and what the acknowledgement means to them.
Volunteering means offering to support another in need without an expectation of something in return, and part of my commitment to humanity to help those who need it.
The church means a whole lot to me, and it meant a whole lot to me. And I volunteered at the church. And when my children were growing up, I volunteered at the school. Where children and your children go, you should be active parent in that particular school.
A celebration of service to and from local residents who take the initiative to push the community forward. With the West Bloomfield Fire Department and retired West Bloomfield Police Chief Mike Patton receiving one of the highest honors of the event.
Both of them received the Dr. Seymour Gretschko Award, one representing a group, our esteemed fire department, one an individual, our esteemed former chief of police.
Well, recognizing the fire department's role as a department, as a whole, for youth in the community and really advocating for community service and public service. That's what it's all about, and couldn't be more grateful to be part of the team that's doing that here in West Bloomfield.
Well, I was quite surprised, if you couldn't tell by the look on my face, but as soon as they mentioned 40 years of service, oh gosh, I hope it's not me, but it is. Look, I'm really grateful here. I was blessed, Kevin, have you heard me say this before, when I landed here in West Bloomfield over 40 years ago. And I've had a remarkable career. I didn't do hardly any of it alone. I had a great team that I worked with over the years. I'm fortunate to hold a current seat on the township board, and so I could continue in service to our great community here.
Being acknowledged for the Dr. Seymour Gretschko Award is a respectable honor. It symbolizes what he represents in the greater West Bloomfield community.
The Michigan Week Committee so valued the legacy of Dr. Gretschko that we literally believed there should be a way to lift up the principles that he modeled. So the values in his life in support of youth, and the quote, "If I err, I will err on the side of the child," meant so much that we felt we needed to perpetuate that.
Say yes to volunteering in Michigan was the theme for this year's event, and the greater West Bloomfield community took their time to say thank you to those who said yes. From Temple Israel, West Bloomfield, I'm Kevin McIntosh, Civic Center TV.
Appreciate the report, Kevin. There was also a very honorable recognition of 40 years of service to the community from those that oversee us at Civic Center TV, the Greater West Bloomfield Cable Communications Commission, and of course the team that we're contracted from at Michigan Digital for providing the AV services there, including the live broadcast. Got this recognition from the team at the Michigan Week Committee, as you can see on your screens right now on civiccentertv.com. I want to extend a huge thank you to all of them on the Michigan Week Committee. So many volunteers that go into planning this event each and every year. There's a lot that goes on volunteerism behind the scenes to celebrate volunteers at this annual event, 53rd Annual Michigan Week Community Awards. You can view the entire awards event on demand on CivicCenterTV.com. Across our social media at Civic Center TV 15 on Facebook. Find it at Civic Center TV on YouTube. And of course, view it throughout the day right here on Civic Center TV and listen on 89.3 Lakes FM. CivicCenterTV.com, the place to go for listings all week long. You can see the Michigan Week Awards, the West Bloomfield Youth Assistance Youth Recognition Awards, the Representative Noah Arbit Town Hall that we recorded, and so many other events coming up. A very busy May, so stay tuned. CivicCenterTV.com for the latest news and live events from all across the greater West Bloomfield community. A lot of conversation continues across all corners of Greater West Bloomfield following a panel discussion in West Bloomfield last week centered on hate crimes. Representative Noah Arbit invited Attorney General Dana Nessel back home to West Bloomfield to talk about hate crimes and extremism, along with an expert who has been traveling the nation studying and discussing hate speech for a number of years and helping to educate young people in our community and beyond to recognize hate speech and ultimately stamp that out here in Greater West Bloomfield and further. If you think hate speech and extremism seem to be on the rise, Dr. Cynthia Miller-Idris from American University said certain aspects of modern life have actually helped these points of view develop more commonly, but urged that resources are available to help curb the rise of hate.
We are in a perfect storm in which we have a more favorable environment to enabling harm, so loss of trust in institutions, a kind of crisis of loneliness. We have the most recent data that we have shows that 50% of American men say their online lives are more rewarding than their offline lives. For example, 25% of men under 30 say they don't have a single friend. So we have weak protective factors, a lack of training about what's happening online, and a very quickly evolving threat landscape that keeps moving and that keeps creating new hybrid forms. We can advance that slide as well. But we also know that everyone wants to feel safe, that everyone wants to feel better equipped, parents in particular, with ways to protect their children against online harms. We find that that parents are the most nonpartisan group we work with. They come to the table ready to understand, and that we need resources.
During the panel, Representative Arbit talked about his legislation updating anti-hate crime laws in Michigan, while also emphasizing that people across our diverse community should be standing up for one another.
We need allies. And so if I'm not your representative, if someone else is your representative, talk to them, tell them, ask them, speak up. Because we need more than just the Jews to speak out about Jewish issues. We need more than just the black representatives to speak out about black issues. We all need to have each other's backs. That's the only way that we're gonna move forward and have each other and protect each other in this time, right? Is if we all have each other's backs.
Attorney General Dana Nessel was equally emphatic on a community-wide approach to defeating hate, encouraging people of all different backgrounds and on all different sides of the political aisle to speak out and not let hateful rhetoric prevail.
If we don't fight back now, we will lose our chance to. And so speak out, be heard, talk to people in your community, talk to your friends, your family, your neighbor, and when you see something that you don't like, speak out against it. When you see something you support, make sure you let people know that.
Dana Nessel speaking at the event with Representative Noah Arbit last week here in Greater West Bloomfield, talking about hate speech and hate crimes and extremism, but also hate speech playing a big factor in that. Temple Israel Rabbi Jennifer Kaluzny moderated the nearly 2-hour-long panel and Q&A, leaving the audience with her own words of wisdom and hope, encouraging Greater West Bloomfield and others to set the tone for a friendlier future.
We need to be the role models for the kids in our lives and the newly adultish ones in their 20s, the adult light that we live with and we know, because everybody needs to see what it means to be loving and tolerant and fight hate in real time.
You can view the full Hate Crimes and Extremism Town Hall on demand as we speak. It's available right now on civiccentertv.com, and you can find the entire thing broadcasting all throughout the week as well. Civiccentertv.com has the listings. You can find it on our social media on demand and watch it on your own time as well. All those links can be found on civiccentertv.com. In West Bloomfield Township, residents are making an influence on the future of their hometown as West Bloomfield Township continues mapping out the guidelines for future development that will shape our community for decades to come. Civic Center TV's Jake Schaff joins us now live at West Bloomfield Town Hall with more. Jake.
Hey, Tyler. Good morning. I'm here live right outside of West Bloomfield Town Hall on this beautiful Monday morning. Love seeing the weather start to get warmer here in the community. And you're absolutely right. Just recently, West Bloomfield Town Hall held their master plan open house, a chance for lots of residents from the greater West Bloomfield community to stop by and to learn about what's going to be coming to the West Bloomfield community and to share their input on to help navigate how things are going to be going for the future. I was recently at their most recent open house. I had the chance to talk to some of the residents as well as some of the people closely involved with the open house to hear why gathering the community's input in this way is so important.
What made you decide to want to come out here tonight to this master plan open house for West Bloomfield?
Well, I did the online survey when it came out, so then I was interested to seeing what came of the online survey and all of the nice demonstration of what they have in mind proposing for the township. So I thought I'd come here in person, talk to some of the powers that be, give my opinion.
Well, our HOA president sent us the information, and I thought, oh, I should go and see what the township plans on doing or wants to do. So that's why I came out tonight.
What have you seen tonight from the community as they've come out to the master plan open house?
So we've had a lot of great ideas regarding future land uses along Orchard Lake Road as well as Haggerty Road. A lot of desire to maintain the walkability and the pedestrian feel of those commercial corridors. So looking at additional parks and sidewalks and possibly alleyways behind some of the shopping centers to create more of a pedestrian-friendly, walkable community. We've also seen a lot of comments about keeping and protecting the woodlands and wetlands and the natural beauty of the township.
I've learned that people are very concerned with the impact of more building with the current state of our roads. The infrastructure will not accommodate a lot more building in this area. And it's very dangerous, and if more development comes out, it's going to be even worse.
How important is the community's input in everything that you guys do?
It's extremely important. We need to hear from the citizens to draft this master plan because it's their plan for the next 30 years, and it will create a roadmap as to how the township changes and grows and things that they're interested in seeing.
Things aren't done in a vacuum, and this helps anyone that's interested to see what's going on. You need residents' input in order to do things correctly, I think. I think if you go off and just do it based on what you think it should be, I think things start to fall apart at that point. So I think getting our input is very good.
We need to hear from the residents as to what they want so we can make sure we're doing our job and to helping the community grow in the way they want the community to grow.
Wade is absolutely right. It is very, very crucial to hear from the residents that help make this community what it is, Tyler. Everyone's voice is important. Everyone's voice matters. And it's awesome that the community has this way to help pitch in and to help make West Bloomfield Township what it is.
It's an important time here in our community. This master plan going to impact development for many years to come, as Kyle Bryce from the Planning and Development Services Department told me recently right here on the Splash Live. It doesn't set the rules, it sets the guidelines. So all these developments that will be coming here over the next 5 to 10 years during this current master plan that they're working on, it all starts with input from the community and from other stakeholders right here in Greater West Bloomfield. Jake, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tyler.
Appreciate it. More updates on the master plan process and future open houses and other discussions can be found on westbloomfieldplans.com. Again, that is westbloomfieldplans.com. I also highly encourage you to go back to civiccentertv.com and take a look at my interview with Kyle Bryce for even more insight on why that open house was planned, why it's so important to the process of making the master plan here in West Bloomfield Township. And again, encourage you to get involved here in West Bloomfield. Master plan process underway. Same deal over in the city of Keego Arbor. They recently had an open house for theirs as well. Planning commission meetings, city council meetings. Great opportunities to have your voice heard on the future of your town and on your city right here in Greater West Bloomfield. We'll take a break. Coming up later on, we'll hear more from Representative Noah Arbit on his recent hate crimes and extremism town hall. An exclusive interview with him coming up very soon. Plus, women who thrive close to home. Live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live. Want to enjoy Civic Center TV on your social media? Find us on Instagram at Civic Center TV. Get notified when we upload one of our interviews, full episodes, and more. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
Hi, I'm Marcia Gershenson, and I'm one of the Oakland County Commissioners that's lucky enough to represent West Bloomfield. And I'd like to congratulate Civic Center TV on having 1 million viewers on YouTube. I mean, that's incredible. Your viewpoint and your authenticity is so valuable. So congratulations on 1 million views. I'm proud to be one in a million.
Bringing you stories and memories from West Bloomfield. Civic Center TV, television that's close to home. And now, back to The Splash, live.
Live, local, social. Welcome back to The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm Tyler Keefe, hosting the program today, and encourage you to always stick around with us and find more information from across Greater West Bloomfield every single day on The Splash Live and on demand on civiccentertv.com. While you're at it, follow us across social media. Facebook at Civic Center TV 15, and everywhere else, pretty much YouTube, Instagram, and X at Civic Center TV. All those links on our website on civiccentertv.com. Greater West Bloomfield is a place where small businesses grow and thrive, and many of those small businesses are ran by remarkable women who strive to lift up the next generation of women in business as well. Coming up on Thursday, May 29th, a special panel discussion in West Bloomfield centered on women who thrive. Joining me now for more information on this panel and event on The Splash Live is Laura Geftos and Saidri Garcia from the Michigan Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and Oakland Thrive, respectively. Thank you both for being with us.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, happy to have you on to talk about this. It's coming up in just a couple of weeks. It's going to be a great panel discussion on women in business in our community, how they've sort of built their success here in Greater West Bloomfield and beyond, and the power of networking all in between. So I do want to begin with you, Saidri, on this. What inspired bringing Women Who Thrive back to West Bloomfield for now a second consecutive year at the library to essentially continue this conversation with our local business community and more?
So we're really excited to have it. This is the second year that we do Women Who Thrive. The first time we did it in Southfield. So we choose West Bloomfield because it's a great area to do it. We wanted to do it in Oakland County, and we think that West Bloomfield is really diverse. it's growing and small business owners are there. So we really wanted to collaborate with West Bloomfield Library to do it in there. And we're making an impact. We have a consultant in that area, and it's amazing. We want to continue collaborating and impacting the community there.
And local chambers play a big role in that as well. We're also joined by Laura Geftos, the Program and Events Director at the Michigan Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, who's partnering with Oakland Thrive to put on this event, along with the Great Lakes Women's Business Council. How important, Laura, would you say partnership is in establishing these relationships that lead to really interesting and collaborative conversations like we're going to see in a couple weeks at the library?
Are truly invaluable, honestly. When you find a like-minded organization that does a lot of similar things like you, I mean, I'm always about the idea of making things grander and bigger. So we don't really see each other as a competition, but we see each other as an opportunity to grow and make things larger. So when we had the conversation and the idea really came about with Saidi, specifically, it was at the end at one of our galas, and we were really in the hallway just speaking vulnerably about some challenges we were having. And I was like, you know what? These are challenges all women are having in every single industry. Why don't we talk about it? And that's how this idea came aboard with Saidi. So thank you. I'm so grateful for her to taking me up on this idea. And then we spoke with Shelley Highlands with the Great Lakes Women's Business Council, who is truly another great ambassador of what we do with the Great Lakes. So just ideas like that and making it bigger and spreading the word and touching all communities, right? Not just one, to say, hey, we're all in this together. Let's talk about it and let's do it together. So it's truly invaluable.
And Saidi had mentioned last year's event being in Southfield. This year, you're bringing it to West Bloomfield. Laura, I wanted to stick with you. From a chamber's point of view, what opportunities does a community that is so diverse like Greater West Bloomfield bring to women who are looking to start that business and build that project that's been a passion project for them for years? What makes this community particularly somewhere that is great for them to start that idea, bring that to ideation, and ultimately thrive early on as they build their business?
I know that's a great question. And I mean, West Bloomfield is such a diverse community. It's so many small businesses and thriving small businesses, right? So bringing a panel like this or an idea like this to a community that's already thriving and, still has its challenges, and we're here to help along with those, but to kind of partner with other communities and bring them to this one community to say, hey, what are you all doing right? And we're kind of doing this, and let's talk about it. And again, even if it's a similar business, doing that benchmarking of what are you doing right? What am I doing wrong? Or what are you doing right that maybe I could try? So really developing those relationships with a community that's so open to it. It is a great opportunity to bring that on board for West Bloomfield. So we're very grateful that the library was available to us and that the community has sold out our events so quickly. So we're very excited.
The event happening Thursday, May 29th, 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. at the West Bloomfield Township Main Library, 4600 Walnut Lake Road. Easy to find, right next door to us at the Town Hall Complex here in West Bloomfield Township. A really compelling panel going to be discussing women in business. Vanessa Palermo, the CEO of LaSalle Construction Services. Rashida Camario Williams, founder of Inspired Life Professionals, will be there. Brenda Rios, director at Ally Financial, Erica White from Ford Motor Company, and even Amanda Sweet, a creative fairy godmother. Interesting concept there. You'll have to take a look by joining at this event on Thursday, May 29th, to find out even more about that. Saturday, last year, the event was in Southfield. It obviously had such great success that you wanted to continue it and bring it to different areas of Oakland County in the future, beginning this year with West Bloomfield being the home of this event. So from last year, was there a moment that stood out to you as particularly powerful that sort of speaks to why it's important to have this sort of become an annual tradition here in Oakland County?
Of course, I think we're making an impact. We're helping one another.
Sorry, my apologies for interrupting. It appears we're having an issue with your mic. on our side. We're going to take care of that for a moment. So I'm just going to stall here for a brief moment so we can pull you out of our main session and work with you on that. In the meantime, Laura, we'll stick with you here. What advice would you give to local women, especially those who are beginning their entrepreneurial journey, if they are either starting their business now or maybe they're attending something like this, networking with other women in business and trying to learn more? What do you think is a good piece of advice for them to start with as they begin their journey?
Yeah, no, another great question, and one that's so relevant for this type of event. One big piece of advice is find a mentor, right? Find a mentor who you feel comfortable with, who you admire. And so that way you always have someone to call, right? You always have somebody to go to and say, these are the challenges I'm having, or what do you think? I'm thinking of making this big career move. And that's one thing that's so important with this event and one thing that was really impactful for me in the year prior is that we had so many generations in one room, and we really had students speaking to older retired and entrepreneurs and talking to each other and really being vulnerable with the conversation. So that's why we think this is so important. And that's one big piece of advice is don't keep it to yourself. Speak to people like us. If you don't necessarily have a mentor, go to the organizations like these that we're happy to help. It may be very intimidating when you're first starting, but it doesn't have to be. There's always somebody willing to help. And that's what's great part of this community of women and our allies, right? It's not just women, it's everybody that supports us and wants to learn along with us. So find a mentor that you feel comfortable with, and that'll take you a very long way.
More information on Women Who Thrive, the Power of Networking, coming to the West Bloomfield Township Public Library and other events all throughout the spring and summer at the main library and the West Acres branch, can be found on Facebook at West Bloom LIB and on their website at wblib.org. Joining us on the Splash Live, Laura Geftos from the Michigan Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and Siley Garcia from Oakland Thrive as we preview this event coming up. Siley, it seems that we've taken care of our technical difficulties from earlier on. Sorry for interrupting you. I do want to go back to that, talking about last year's event, sort of a great kickoff for this that's turned it into an annual tradition. What was a moment from that you believe was particularly powerful and inspired you and others partnering to want to bring this event back in 2025 and bring it here to West Bloomfield?
I think collaboration and partnership, it's the key. We are in the same boat. We are, small business owners. We're a woman. We are a community that needs the power of connections. So I think, people are still talking about last year's event. We made an impact with the community and the small business owners. And we would like to continue doing the same thing, partnering, doing events, collaborating, having one other, helping one other. And, just at the end of the day, just helping one another. We are humans. We are small business owners. We're women. This event, it's open to the public. But we want to encourage women to be better every day and collaborating with others. So I think the keynote and the takeaway, it's collaborating and partnering with other women to support one another.
Saturday, in your conversation with these business owners, particularly women in business, and those that maybe are in more heavily affected communities and growing businesses like minority communities, what do you think that, from your conversations with them, that they did take away, and what impact these sort of conversations, this networking opportunity had for them as they pursue their dreams in business?
So I think at the end of the day, you never know who you are going to meet in this type of events, right? So maybe the person that is sitting next to you, it's the person that you need to continue doing business. You never know if that person is going to know someone that it's going to help your business, that it's going to make your business grow. That's why we will believe about the power of connections. And we said, put yourself out there as a business owner. We know that it's really hard to attend every single event. But I think, putting yourself out there, knowing that there is someone that could help your business, it's really impactful. And we are here to help one another as an organization. We have a lot of events, workshops, trainings, networking events, And we do these for our community and for small business owners because we know how important it is, besides your business, to collaborate with others and do your networking.
More information on this event and other things happening with the Michigan Hispanic Chamber of Commerce can be found on mhcc.org, and Oakland Thrive can be found on oaklandthrive.com. Laura Geftos, Siley Garcia joining me on the Splash Live, previewing Women Who Thrive, the Power of Networking, coming to West Bloomfield Thursday, May 29th, 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. at the West Bloomfield Township Public Library. Siley, we want to give you one final opportunity. Anything else that we haven't spoken about today, or any final messages you'd like to give to the community as they get ready for this event on May 29th?
I would like to say, don't be afraid of showing up to events. You're not alone. You know, we are trying to build a great community, and you are going to get a chance to talk with amazing people and takeaways. Just talk to the person that it's next to you. Like maybe that person is afraid to talk as well. So we never know when are we going to meet the right person, and everything it's about, as I said before, collaboration and partnership. So I truly, I want to encourage you to attend this type of events because it's really important for yourself professionally and personally. I think it's amazing. So we're looking forward to see you there on May 29th.
And Laura, same question to you. Any lasting message for women who are business owners as we speak, maybe have some ideas that they have had some struggles getting those first steps made? Any lasting message for them as maybe they prepare to come out on May 29th?
Yeah, just to know that there are these kinds of resources available to them, right? With the Michigan Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, you do not have to be Hispanic or women-owned to be a part of the chamber. We have small entrepreneurs all the way to corporates that are part of our chamber. So just reach out to us and see how we can help you, right? Come to our networking events. We have a slew of workshops that are available with other organizations. So look at our calendars, see what's relevant to you. Call us, ask us the questions. And you never know who's going to be next to you, like Saidi mentioned, at these type of events. So reach out to us for any more resources. We're happy to help.
mhcc.org for the Michigan Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, oaklandthrive.org for more information on Oakland Thrive. Laura Geftos, Saidi Garcia, thank you both so much for joining us.
Thank you so much
for having us.
Glad to have you on Thursday, May 29th, 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. A very compelling panel going to be joining their organizations at the West Bloomfield Township Public Library. More information on that and other events happening at the library all throughout the spring and the summer can be found on West Bloom LIB on Facebook or WBLIB.org. The networking continues. More relationships you can build in the greater West Bloomfield community. Summer sunshine has arrived, and with it comes more family time, activities for the kids, and plenty to learn from Greater West Bloomfield's thriving local entrepreneurial community. The Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce has a very busy summer with plenty of ways for you to engage in the community and support local businesses all along the way. The Greater West Bloomfield Chamber's Director, Suzanne Levine, recently joined us here on the Splash Live to provide a full preview.
Executive Director of the Chamber of Commerce for Greater West Bloomfield, Suzanne Levine. Thanks for being here.
Well, thank you for having me on this really beautiful spring day.
I know, right? Couldn't have said it better, Suzanne. So just overall, I gave a generic overview of some things, but can you just explain, maybe in a little bit more detail, of some of the key events that the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce is hosting?
Well, we're really excited because we have a whole different array of events this year. We always have our Cup of Connections and our wealth meetings, wellness and health professionals, but we're going to have our 15th annual health fair at June 11th at the Bloomfield Township. This is a great event. There's still time for people to, purchase a table, but it's open free to the public, and it's a great way to get to know all the different health options in your community. Wow. So we're really excited, and I'm pretty sure that you're covering it. So hopefully we'll see you there. It's just a really wonderful way to introduce the community to things that they might not know, and to also for our small businesses to let the community know what they offer.
Right.
So it's just really, we love this event. And we're so grateful to you and to West Bloomfield Parks and Rec and to West Bloomfield Township for letting us host this event.
Yes, one of many events, by the way, too. Yeah, you were going to explain more, please.
Yes, July 30th, we're going back and we're revisiting our Key to the Township Awards. And it's going to I've sent out the nomination form. There's 5 different categories, and you don't have to necessarily live in West Bloomfield as long as you work or play or have some connection. And this is a great event. In years past, we had Charlie Langton be the host, so we're hoping that he'll host it again because he's, talk about funny, he happens to have quite a bit of interest and zest to any event. So this should be a great way to honor people that don't necessarily get the recognition. The Business Leader of the Year, the Spirit of the Community, a Young Entrepreneur, Health and Wellness, and then I have my secret Chamber Member of the Year that I present that night. So it's just really a great event to honor people in your community. So I hope people will nominate and attend this event and show appreciation for all the people that work diligently to support our community.
Oh, that's so exciting, Suzanne. First and foremost, yes, we will be covering that Health and Wellness Fair, by the way, June 11th. So, yes, we will be there. That's very exciting, giving residents an opportunity to check out different healthcare options and learn about different providers and things of that nature. But like you said, also, I love I just love in general that you have that openness for the Key to the Township nominations. We just saw that form go out recently, and we spoke about that. But like you said, just nominating people who are making a difference, the movers and shakers, and like you said, whether they work, live, or play right here in West Bloomfield, but they make an impact. So I love to hear. Now, we've heard about the events that are annual events that's been repeated, but are there any new or first-time events plans for this year's summer lineup?
Well, we did relaunch our Business Innovation Generator.
Right.
That was at Ferrari, which was an event. We're really excited. So we're going to be doing those once in a quarter. The next one will be at Plantera. We don't have a topic yet or a date, but it was just a great networking event to bring our diverse community together. And of course, the cars were the stars. Not that Jeff Collins wasn't great, and it was really interesting to hear his story about how he got started and what he had to do to actually earn the Ferrari dealership. It was quite a process. So, and we were very grateful to them for hosting. I'm hoping that I could actually live in one of the cars. I guess if I sold my house, I could do it.
Right? Oh, my goodness. No, completely different level. And we saw that. We covered that event, too. Great event, by the way, that you all put on right here in our community. Unique location and everything. Highlighted the Ferrari dealership. I think that was beautiful. With me right here live on The Splash, by the way, Executive Director for the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce, Suzanne Levine, talking about the upcoming spring and summer events. So many going on that we are highlighting. I want you to talk about the effectiveness of the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce and the impact that they have by explaining how these events support local businesses and the broader community.
But I think it's really important to highlight our community. We have so many unique businesses. We have a lot of course, healthcare, but we have a lot of interesting boutique type of businesses, shops, and especially with Shop Local, it's very important, especially during this economy, to make sure that we support our local businesses. So I'm really excited when we have a big networking event to introduce people. I'm sort of like your mother, and I will kind of drag you along. The difference is I don't get the same eye rolls like I do for my kids when I try to tell them something. But it's really amazing when we have our Cup of Connections or our wealth meetings, we have them in local businesses. And these are businesses, some of them have been established for a long time, but for some reason, people aren't even aware that they exist. So it's a great way to highlight your business. We bring people in with a network. You just offer a light refreshment, coffee, maybe, a bagel or a cookie or something, but really people are there to network and connect. And so we just did one at True Natural Spa, and this woman's been there for a while, Ava Lee, and it's really an amazing business. She has salt baths and aromatherapy and massage and all kinds of unique, she's from Korea, so South Korea is very much in the forefront of healthcare and also skincare. So it was really interesting to learn about some of the things that she was doing there. So this is just a great opportunity for businesses to highlight their business, bring people in, connect the community, and maybe you make a connection with someone that you never met before, and do some business, whether it's just even putting their business card, in your business, which is great.
Yeah. No, I would agree. Those two main things that you talked about, I think is very important. Not only highlighting local businesses that we probably drive past every day and don't pay attention to, but also just connecting local business owners, leaders, and entrepreneurs with the community as well. So well said for providing that angle. Now, just since we were talking about some of these events that have been repeated, that are annual, or monthly even, with that being said, how does the Chamber incorporate feedback from some of these past events into future planning?
Well, usually I try to send out a survey, or at least I ask the people that attended the event how they felt about it. What would they see to be improved? Funny enough, I said I would never do another golf outing after last year, but we are planning on one at a local at Twin Beach.
Okay.
And a lot of people aren't even aware that this, it's a 9-hole golf course. It's beautiful. So I think we're going to do one in the end of September. I'm sort of debating, but I think there has been a demand, and we do. And as you know, golf is a great way to do business.
Yes.
I probably should take it up, but I would probably be too frustrated, whacking that ball. So we're going to probably do that again, and we're going to, of course, have our repeat of our leadership breakfast. And we're thinking about doing something with the Lakes Area Chamber, maybe a game night. So
okay,
that could be fun. We're trying to, reinvent the wheel a little bit. Of course, there's some things that are tried and true, like the leadership breakfast and the health fair. But we're really trying to think of ways to bring the community together and make sure that everyone has an opportunity to get their business in front of other businesses and the community. It's really important. I don't care how many flyers you send out. There's certain things, and we've talked about this a lot. Money and health are trust issues. So you're not just going to go to you're not just going to turn your money over to any financial advisor. You're not just going to have any home health care worker come into your home and take care of your parent. These are trust issues. So it's really important that these businesses send even one representative. I don't care if it's your mother that's coming to meetings, someone that can promote your business, get to know you, get to know what you're about, so that they trust you, so that they're very willing to try you out.
No, I'm so glad you brought that. I forgot we talked about that last time, and that was so heavy too. People really take a lot of consideration when they're putting their money into financial businesses or structures, and also healthcare. So yeah, well said, and a great opportunity for people to come out and find out more information. We got to let you go, Suzanne. We appreciate you, but ultimately, if anybody does want to find out more information about the events or the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce, how can they do so?
They can contact the chamber at wbloomfieldchamber@gmail.com. Go to our website, westbloomfieldchamber.com, or call me at 248-626-3636. And I'm happy to talk to people that aren't even chamber members to see if I can help direct them to the resources they need to survive.
Ooh, I like that. Man, being very helpful per usual. We want to thank you so much again. Executive Director from the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce, Suzanne Levine. Thank you again.
Thank you again.
WestBloomfieldChamber.com, the place to go for more information on all of the Chamber's events, ways you can get involved, whether you are a member or not a member, all summer long. And of course, you can follow them on Facebook at West Bloomfield CC. Stay tuned for more coverage. Their health fair in June will be live right here on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Earlier on, we showed you some clips from a very, very big event that's been getting a lot of press across Metro Detroit lately, a hate crimes and extremism town hall hosted by West Bloomfield's representative in the Michigan State House of Representatives, Noah Arbit, along with Attorney General Dana Nessel, and a nationwide expert on hate crimes and extremism, Dr. Cynthia Miller-Idris from Peril, an organization at American University. One of the people leading the charges on combating hate crimes from our community to Lansing is our very own State Representative Noah Arbit, who joins me now on the Splash Live to talk more about this issue and his recent town hall. Representative Arbit, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks, Tyler. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, glad to have you on in retrospect, thinking about this event that you put on with Attorney General Dana Nessel and a nationwide expert from an organization called Peril to address hate crimes and extremism from our community and outward. This is not something that just popped up recently and happened here in Greater West Bloomfield. It's something that your camp had been planning for quite a while. So what sparked your office and you personally wanting to have a community-wide discussion on this issue?
Yeah, sure. So, well, this is something taking on rising hate crimes and addressing Michigan's woefully inadequate hate crimes laws. So those were things that I campaigned on back when I was first running for this office 4 years ago almost, which is crazy to say. And so, now that I'm in my second term and the legislation has passed, the legislation that I sponsored, the Michigan Hate Crime Act and the Institutional Desecration Act, we got those bills signed into law. It was important for me to both educate the public on those bills and also, some proactive steps that people can take in their own small ways to sort of arrest these trends and fight back against hate, against radicalization, against extremism and polarization. All of these sort of forces that I think really tear us apart and threaten the integrity of our society and the resilience of our society, and in particular focus on our youth. And so connecting with the Attorney General as well as with the Peril team, Dr. Cynthia Miller-Idris, who's a nationwide expert, researcher, and has a best-selling author, has written books called Hate in the Homeland and Man Up. Definitely recommend everyone read those books. I think it was just a really important way for us to get the message out and to let people know that, just because, these things exist does not mean that there aren't ways that we can make them better and really take action against hate and against extremism. So that was the sort of motivation for why I wanted to host this town hall.
And you grew up in this community. You're very familiar with one of the key elements of Greater West Bloomfield that makes it such a strong community and a place where a lot of people come to from all over the world is the fact that it has such a diverse population of different ethnicities, different religious backgrounds, different socioeconomic backgrounds. And that makes it all the more important, I would imagine, to have these sorts of conversations sparked from in our community, because while a lot of the discussion at this event sort of drew back to anti-Semitism, that's not the only form of hate that people in our communities have seen or will see in the future. So from a diversity standpoint, given the population of our community, why is it even that much more important to begin to have this dialogue here in Greater West Bloomfield and move that beyond our community to our neighbors and throughout the state?
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. Obviously I'm Jewish, and coming from that background, anti-Semitism is something that keeps me awake at night, frankly. And having received threats and been involved in just some really heinous things in terms of threats that have come my way as a Jewish elected official. But understanding, of course, that that there's anti-Black racism, there's Islamophobia, there's anti-Asian racism, homophobia. The rest of it is so incredibly important to understand, and that's why I talked a lot about how the legislation that I introduced isn't for one community, but it's to protect all communities, and also to understand too, like I can't pass a bill that's going to end anti-Semitism or anti-Black racism or Islamophobia or homophobia, but what we can do is equip Michigan with the tools to respond, to prevent violence, prevent targeted violence, and also equip communities to be able to respond and actually take action to prevent these types of ills, these these types of societal ills from infecting communities in the first place. And that's the resources that Peril, the Polarization and Extremism Research and Innovation Lab, really brings to the table. And that's why I was really gratified that we were able to have Dr. Cynthia Miller-Idris there to talk about Peril's work and to share with members of our community those resources that they can access for free online, as well as partnering with West Bloomfield School District and Peril on some K-5 curriculum that really gets to the heart at, ensuring that young students have the ability to go online and find out, figure out what is propaganda and what is meant to be misinformation and what's not. Equipping them with those tools to understand what's real and what's not online, I think, is really, really critical.
And especially today, where we're being so flooded through social media, through traditional media also, and through word of mouth, with such a bevy of different information. Some of it that's accurate and full, some of it that's full misinformation, and a lot that's in between. Sort of seeing those triggers and those risk factors that lead to hate speech manifesting in the community was a really big point that particularly Dr. Cynthia Miller-Idris from Peril had brought up during that conversation.
That's right. Well, and I think it's important to remember too, and we had a pamphlet that sort of listed out a glossary of terms. It's important to understand hate speech is not illegal. Hate speech is deleterious to society for sure, but is not illegal. What the difference between hate speech and a hate crime is that a hate crime is an actual criminal act that is targeted because of someone's race, religion, sex. And we talk a lot about gender-based violence. Domestic violence, violence perpetrated largely against women. Those things can be hate crimes too. But hate speech by itself, we have the First Amendment in this country. We respect the freedom of speech. Even the most heinous hate speech is protected by the Constitution. So that's not really what we're talking about. We're talking about actual acts of targeted violence or threatened acts of targeted violence that are really experienced collectively by a community. I mean, I talked a lot about how in 2018, the Pittsburgh synagogue shooting that was the most deadly attack on the Jewish community in American history, really impacted me, even though I'm not from Pittsburgh, I'm not part of the community, the communities that I'm part of weren't necessarily threatened, but this is experienced collectively. And so the people who share, who are part of the victims' community are really impacted too and can be traumatized. And that's something that people who commit hate crimes count on. They understand that their actions reverberate across a wider population and they're counting on it.
And it's important, too, for people to understand that there is action they can take here in the state of Michigan. Attorney General Dana Nessel providing a lot of clarity on how people can report hate crimes if they fall victim to it, if they witness those hate crimes. Because that, as you said, that's the important point of this, is the hate speech isn't, it's at the crux of the issue, but it's not particularly where the law veers from legal to illegal. It happens through action. So you can see the full...
I think talking about hate speech is important because hate speech often begets hate action, which if we're talking about hate crimes, but by itself is not something that's criminalized.
Exactly, and you can view the full Hate Crimes and Extremism Town Hall that we broadcast live here on Civic Center TV. It's available on demand on civiccentertv.com. You can also find it on our Facebook page at Civic Center TV 15, as well as on Representative Arbit's Facebook page as well. A lot of really good insight in there, a lot of clarity into some of what we've been hearing on the new anti-hate crime legislation that was passed through Representative Arbit and the state Congress over the past year, and so much more. Plus, a lot of really interesting insight from an expert, Dr. Cynthia Miller-Idris from Peril through American University during that entire conversation. And Representative Noah Arbit is with us, representing our local area in the 20th District in the Michigan House of Representatives. As we talk about hate crimes and we talk about the anti-hate crime legislation, a big part of what went into the town hall was discussions on addressing it in your community and in your social circles. And a big part of that was not just only recognizing what is hate speech, what are hate crimes, kind of how they manifest and how they relate to one another, but how to react and to be proactive also beyond that, Noah. What was really important that was discussed from Attorney General Dana Nessel was talking about the hate speech that you experience in your day-to-day, having those conversations with people that may have a misguided point of view on a certain group of people that can be mitigated by simply having a conversation, having a healthy and friendly debate to move from hate to some sort of understanding. That's something also that I know your office has been emphasizing too through all of this, as well as you've put forth these efforts to curb hate crimes in Greater West Bloomfield and beyond. How would you encourage people in a diverse community like Greater West Bloomfield to branch out maybe beyond their subset of the community to get to know other people and maybe dispel some of those misconceptions they have about people of different backgrounds?
Yeah, and I think this is a really incredible point, and we actually have really incredible opportunities here in Greater West Bloomfield to do just that. I think education is really often always the key, education and proximity to different communities. And so, pop over to the when it opens at the corners, the new Chaldean Heritage Museum, the first in the world Chaldean Heritage Museum that's going to be in West Bloomfield. Go and visit the Ziegelman Holocaust Center in Farmington Hills, right? Like, acquaint yourself, educate yourself, and sort of immerse yourself in other people's cultures. I think proximity and understanding and education, I think often is really the key to demystifying and really to guarding against hate, because we hate the things that we are unfamiliar with, right? And once something becomes familiar, our brains are really designed to protect us from the unfamiliar. And so when you look at like what is underlying a lot of hate, oftentimes it's just people who are unfamiliar with certain things, and so they assume it's bad. And that's just a very base, like, human tendency. And so proximity, familiarity, education, all of those things I think are really important. And I think it's also why, like when we went to school at Lone Pine, Tyler, you'll remember we had Traditions Near and Far Night, which was really kind of like an international fest where all the kids' parents who were maybe from a different country came and that exposed us to different cultures and different foods and different ways of living. And I think that was just such an important bedrock for us. And like now it gets talked about and politically it's like, oh, that's DEI. Like, no, that's just education. That's just learning about your neighbors, right? And so I just think that so often we politicize these things, and really it's just about getting to know your neighbors, and it's just about expanding your horizons and understanding how other people live, and why is that a bad thing?
In a community like Greater West Bloomfield, where we have so many different diverse backgrounds, socioeconomic, cultural, religious, and so on and so forth, we have a great opportunity to do that, and a big part of, and a really interesting way that you can get involved in and getting to know people of different backgrounds is to simply just get involved in the community.
That's right.
Too.
We can lead the way here in West Bloomfield.
Absolutely. Representative, we only have a couple more minutes with you. I want to give you one last chance to say anything else that we haven't been able to discuss today, and your final thoughts as people maybe look back on the hate crimes and extremism town hall and take away something that they can apply into their own lives to help make a friendlier community here and beyond.
First of all, I want to thank you for being there, for broadcasting it, and I just want to encourage everyone to go, if you weren't able to be there, to go and watch it. I think there's a lot of really interesting and educational and informative tidbits on there. And also, I would encourage you to talk with your school districts, especially if you're a parent, and ask them what they are doing, and if there's any way that they can bring in some of this programming that Peril offers to really make our kids in our community more resilient against hate, against extremism, and against misinformation and disinformation in particular. We talk a lot about online safety and about how oftentimes online misinformation and disinformation can be a really nasty vector of radicalization and extremism, and parents often don't know about it, and teachers don't often know about it until it's too late. And so if we're going to arrest those disturbing trends, not just in our community but across the state, it really is incumbent upon schools to be leaders in that effort, and for parents to put the onus on schools to do that. So I'm happy to have conversations with anyone in our community, with my constituents, to connect you with those resources. You can contact my office. You can go to reparbit.com or email me at noaharbit@house.mi.gov. And I'm really looking forward to continuing these conversations and continuing the advocacy work against hate and against extremism.
RepNoahArbit.com is his website. Rep Noah Arbit is his handle on Facebook for more information and to follow along other events and appearances that will be happening right here in our community. Once again, you can view the full Hate Crimes and Extremism Town Hall with Representative Noah Arbit, Attorney General Dana Nessel, and Dr. Cynthia Miller Idris from Peril at American University on demand, CivicCenterTV.com, and across our social media. Representative Arbit, thank you so much for your time.
For having me, Tyler.
That's our show. I want to remind you that television that's close to home is always online on CivicCenterTV.com and across our social media. Big thank you to our entire crew and to you for joining in for our entire team. I'm Tyler Keefe, reminding you to get out, get involved, and make some memories in your community. And if you miss them, they'll be live, local, social, right here on The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.